Welcome to meeting number 139 of Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club. I am the club president, Kevin Rubia. Happy to join you this first meeting of the 2026-2027 Toastmasters year. Time flies. Last year at such a time, I was a vice president of education. Now I am the president. I'm keen to find out what changes have happened in your life this July. I'm going to ask some of you to respond to that by first calling on our club officers, those who are newly elected for the term 2026-2027, starting with our Vice President of Education, Fatma Amio. What has changed for you so far in this Toastmasters year? As you tell us, as you say hi to the members.
Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, what has changed is the people that I have met. I have made it intentional to engage with all the amazing people within the Toastmasters platforms. That is what is all about July. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, VPE Fatma, Vice President of Education. Next is our VPM, Kevin Kimbio, who unfortunately is not with us today, but he is alive and well. Next, we go to the Vice President of Public Relations, Serah Wanjiku. What's new for you this Toastmasters year?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. What's new for me is being in uncharted waters again after I swore I will never do it in Toastmasters. By that, I mean being in a completely new role that I know very green in. So it's quite exciting though. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Haven't we all taken those roles? Sometimes you're forced to take them, sometimes circumstances makes you take them. Nonetheless, we do take them just like Serah did, and we make the most of it. You're doing a great job, Madam VPPR. Our next club officer is our club secretary, Mine Maina, who hasn't joined us but is alive and well. Then we go to our club treasurer, Maggy Waithiru DTM. What's new for you?
What's new for me this Toastmaster year is that it's my first time to be the Toastmaster of the day this Toastmaster year. That should count for something new. Back to you, Mr. President.
Clock it. Indeed, that is amazing to inaugurate this year with your role of Toastmaster of the day. Our Sergeant, Secretary Treasurer, yes, our Sergeant at Arms is not with us today, but she is alive and well, I confirm. And we have our immediate past president, Robert Ndwati Karanja, who's also not here, but is well. Are you new to Toastmasters? Is this your first time at Watabaruku? I'd like you to have an opportunity to tell us what is new for you this July or this Toastmasters year. Any takers? As you prepare to unmute, I will recognize the district leaders in our midst. We have Area Director Leila Abdi. Thank you for joining us today. We also have Division Director Dan Odero. Welcome. Olufunmilayo, you have a wonderful, wonderful name. Because of that, I'd like to hear where you're joining us from and to know whether you are a Toastmaster. Over to you, Olu. Although if you're not able to unmute, you can post in the chat. Brenda Kakai, thank you once again for joining us this Toastmasters year. Remind us which club you're visiting us from and what's new for you.
Thank you, Mr. President, and congratulations on serving your club as president. I'm excited to be back. I am from the Muju Toastmasters Club based in Kampala, Uganda. What's new for me is today I served for the first time as TMOD in the current Toastmasters year. I'm excited. I enjoyed it. Over.
Great. Well done. You're twinning with Maggy Waithiru, DTM. We shall continue to interact in the chat and more towards the end of the meeting. For now, I'd like to introduce you to Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club and share the meeting or online experience guidelines for this session. Watabaruku is Swahili for people who gather for social purposes. Now you know. We are an online advanced club in District 114, and join us every second and fourth Friday, such as this one, from 6:45 to 7 p.m. East African time for interactive word games. In case you missed today's, please make sure you're logged in by 6:45 p.m. East African time. You'll also experience triple tiered evaluations. You shall see them live today, and focused feedback. By attending this remote club meeting, you agree to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International, as well as the unassociated remote hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as name, image, and any shared messages may be shared with other meeting participants and will be recorded by Toastmasters International, who may use the recording in the future as it sees fit. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use or distribution of said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. The renaming protocol, which will be posted in the chat if it hasn't yet, thanks to our chat master, Siofudha, is as follows. If you are a Toastmaster and you have a role in this online experience, please start by renaming yourself with a hashtag followed by a role underscore name. For example, timer, hashtag timer, abracadabra. If you are a Toastmaster in Watabaruku and beyond, and you do not have a role in this meeting or online experience, start with your name, no need for a hashtag, followed by your club. For example, Cleopatra of Queen's Toastmasters Club. If you are not yet a Toastmaster, welcome, and we are glad that you can join us today. Start by naming yourself with guests, followed by an underscore, then your name. For example, guest Komba Mwiko. The chat master, Siofudha Caroline, will post the complete renaming convention in the chat. Please send them a private message if you need help renaming yourself. Remember to please keep your video on throughout the meeting if possible. It helps us have a more exciting and engaging experience. Mute your microphone unless it is your turn to speak. Use the Zoom chat and reaction buttons to engage. Give feedback and vote when the polls are launched. And last and not least, enjoy, visit again, and become a member of Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Maggy Waithiru, DTM. Maggy has been a Toastmaster for the longest time. However, she uses all that time to infuse wisdom, not only to Watabaruku Toastmasters, but to Runda Elite Toastmasters Club, where she is a Vice President of Education, and other clubs. She's been in so many clubs in South Africa, you name it, she's been there. She is also a person who I consider a very close friend, a person that I can call on whenever I am stressed, and I think the feeling is mutual. And it gives me great pleasure as the club president to invite her on this very first meeting that I'm presiding as our Toastmaster of the day. Let's welcome her with a round of applause.
Lovely. I can't see the claps, I cannot hear them, but I am happy to be here today. I have not been a Toastmaster of the day in Watabaruku in so long. If you've been in Watabaruku, you know you don't just show up, you really show up, because we are an advanced club and we want to continue growing in our Toastmasters journey, professionally, personally, in whatever area of your life that you want to grow in when it comes to public speaking and leadership. When I volunteered for this role, which I did several, maybe months ago, to be the Toastmaster of the day, I remember that in Watabaruku, you are given a few themes to choose from for the meeting. You don't just come up and say, today the theme of the day is skydiving. No, you are given series to pick from. It came naturally to me to pick coaching as the theme for today. If you know me, or if you don't know me, here's your opportunity to know me a little bit better. Besides Toastmasters, which I really love, I love to exercise. If you can't find me at 10 o'clock, in fact, you should never look for me at 10 o'clock. You are guaranteed to know that I am going to be in the gym. And if I'm not in the gym, I am sleeping. I have to recover. One thing that I also love to do is to coach people. I coach people around nutrition, wellness, and in future, not too far, fitness. Today, I promise you, I'm not going to make you do burpees. I'm not going to teach you how to do deadlifts. I am not going to teach you how to eat properly. But I want us to start thinking about ourselves as leaders. How do you show up? Samson as a leader, Antony as a leader, Brenda, Kevin, Gideon, whoever it is, wherever you are, whatever you do, trust me when I tell you there's somebody who looks at you as if you are a leader. I have the distinct pleasure of being the youngest in the family. I did not say last born. There was a last born, but I am the youngest in the family. However, if you interact with me, you would think I'm the firstborn. I say I'm the last born with firstborn syndrome. I show up as a leader. If you ask my nieces and nephews, I show up as a leader, and so do you. Therefore, I thought this theme of today is leaders need coaches. Should speak to all of you, whether you think you're a leader or not, because somebody does. I asked all our role takers several questions. And one of the questions that I asked them is whether they think leaders need coaches. Who wants to guess what most of them said, if not all of them? You can unmute. If you're not a role taker, unmute and tell me, do you think leaders need coaches? Who thinks, Brenda, do you think leaders need coaches? This is the disadvantage of being online. You think I don't see you, but I can see you. So I will call you out. Brenda, do you think leaders need coaches?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Brenda. And so do all the other role takers who responded to my question, which means it's unanimous. We all need coaches. If we were to use the space we have here today to check the number of people who responded, and the question that everybody as a leader needs a coach. I've not always been a coach. In 2018, I don't want to say disrupted. I changed my life from being an employed person, earning a salary and receiving on my phone as my messages came in that I had received a salary, to sitting at home and being a very dutiful wife and mother. And I took the opportunity to pivot. But before I did that, I was coached by one and only, most magnanimous and beautiful and most energizing lady called Lisa Nichols. Who knows Lisa Nichols? If you don't know her, guys, I don't know who you know as a coach. Lisa Nichols is a fantastic lady. I had a pliant schedule that allowed me to attend coaching with her for several months. And with it, I asked myself, why doesn't everybody have a coach? Why isn't everybody being coached? And slowly, I also decided to become a coach. And I think each one of us here, all 26 of us, excluding me because I'm already a coach, all of us need to be coaches. Please look for opportunities to study coaching. However you do it, there are many free platforms where you can learn how to do it and see how you can impact people. I have an interesting fact to tell you. Did you know that coaching started in ancient Greece? Way back in the 14th century. It was something they did as part of the Socratic method of self-discovery. These Greeks were amazing. They used coaching, through coaching, they used thought-provoking questions, which every coach will always use when they interact with you, and you should do too as a leader, to stimulate critical thinking and self-discovery. But you go to a coach because you need help. Then why are we asking you questions if you have come to me as a coachee and I'm asking you questions? The theory, which I truly believe, is that the coachee, you who is being coached, has all the answers. You just need to be asked. I just need to ask you one question that helps you click. And you're like, yes, I already knew that. Why didn't I think about it? But lest I get carried away, I will tell you a little bit about more of coaching in a few minutes. But before I do that, I want to introduce you first to the agenda, which has been shared with you in the chat. Am I lying? I'm lying. Our VP will share with you the agenda for today. In it, you will see that we have different segments. We have a segment on prepared speeches. Our speakers have identified the pathway that they're going to follow out of the 6 which are available. I say this in case there's somebody in this room who is either new to Toastmasters or is here as a guest. There are 6 pathways that you can choose. There's a new one that is called Vintage. If you want to see what people like Samson used to do many years ago, you can do the Vintage. But if you want to be like Gen Z, like Daktari, you have 6 pathways. There's dynamic leadership, there's engaging humor, there is motivational strategies, presentation mastery, and 2 others. These 2 speakers we have today have picked a pathway that they're following, and they will deliver speeches out of that. They will be evaluated. And as you heard from our president, we do a 3-tier evaluation where you receive feedback from 3 people. Nothing falls through the cracks. You can't show up in Watabaruku unprepared. Somebody will catch you. In between, just because we love sandwiches, and you will know why, in between, we have the table topics segment, which gives you an opportunity for impromptu speaking. What does that mean? If you stay here, you will know. But do me a favor. Please turn on your videos when the table topic segment comes. Because if I was in a meeting in person and you were there, I would have identified you and asked you to speak. Please do us a favor and keep your videos on. No meeting can run on its own. I'm here as a Toastmaster of the day, which is like a facilitator or I don't like to say MC because I would do a horrible job at MCing, but I'm a facilitator. I'm facilitating the session. And I can't do that on my own. We have a timer, or for the sake of Gideon, who is in this room, a timekeeper. We have a grammarian, and we have a general evaluator whose job is almost like CIA, checking to see that all the nuts and bolts of the meeting are moving well. I will start with the super grammarian, who will tell us the word of the day and her role tonight. She has several roles, but she'll only talk about the grammarian role at this point. Dr. Liz, when I asked her if she thinks leaders need coaches, she said yes. But I asked all the role takers a few other questions. Dr. Liz first is the president. We are standing here in the presence of presidents. Is the president of Mutandao Toastmasters, which I'm also a member of. And she says one thing that she, is an age where you always have to remove your specs when you're speaking, when you're reading. In which area of her life does she think she would need coaching right now? It would be in managing a team, because she's the president, she will need to manage a team. And a quality that she feels makes someone an effective coach is time management. One coach that she really admires is a choir trainer. I don't know whether it's a specific one, but choir trainer. Over to you, Dr. Liz, to tell us more about your role tonight.
At least someone is here around me. I'm trying to make him a member of Toastmasters. I hope one day he will.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Owino.
Thank you.
Yes. So I'm a super grammarian this evening. The word of the day is pliant. Pliant, which means easily influenced, flexible, willing to adapt, and all those other phrases that apply to it. Our timer will display the word of the day, and as a grammarian, I will try to check how many times we use this word, and I'll also check for correct usage of the word, as well as disfluencies that people use while they are speaking. That is the interruptions to regular flow of speeches. For example, the use of filler sounds, repetitions, and all that. At the end of it, I will give a report of how many times we have used the word of the day and how well or how wrong we have used grammar in our meeting. Just an example of how we can use the word of the day: pliant. A pliant attitude will enable all of us use the word of the day effectively. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Dr. Liz, for that succinct explanation of your role tonight. We hope we all use the word of the day very well, and also we try and use grammar as well as we can. You will want to know this. In Toastmasters, we don't penalize you for having a heavy tongue. For example, I am from Central Province, where L is not a letter of the alphabet. Therefore, if I say Dr. Riz, it cannot be said to be a wrong usage of the word. If I say long instead of wrong, you have to try and figure out what I'm saying. In short, we do not penalize you for your mother tongue. You're lucky if you went to a group of schools and you kind of dropped it along the way. You're lucky. Our next role taker is the timekeeper, who is Serah Wanjiku. Serah Wanjiku, I've had such a pleasure to know this lady. I interacted with her the first time when she was, I think, conference convener in Mombasa. And today she is also our timekeeper and is the vice president of public relations for Watabaruku. She says an area of her life where she feels coaching would really be impactful is in balancing work and social life. Wouldn't that be good? I think one should add their social media. And qualities that she feels make someone an effective coach is being an empathetic and active listener, confident and good communicator. That way you're able to connect with the person that you're coaching. And a person that she really admires is a lady by the name of Anne Obura. I will figure out who that is. She says she made her life make so much sense. Well done, Serah, and congrats to you for having clarity in your life through Anne Obura. Please share with us the role that you are covering today.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. As your timer this evening, I will keep track of the time for prepared speeches, table topics, evaluations, and reports. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have spent using the green, yellow, red virtual backgrounds. Tonight, prepared speech one will be an icebreaker, which will be 4 to 6 minutes. I will show green at 4 minutes, yellow at 5 minutes, and red at 6 minutes. For our second speech and the general evaluators report, which are 5 to 7 minutes each, I will show green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, red at 7 minutes. For our table topics and language evaluations, these are 1 to 2 minutes each. I will show green at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute, 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. Content and delivery evaluations and the Super Grammarians report are 2 to 3 minutes each. I will show green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. A 30-second grace period applies before going under or over time, except for table topics where the minimum is 1 minute. Polls will be launched for all speakers. However, only those within qualifying time will be eligible for the Best Speaker, Best Table Topics, and Best Evaluator awards. Please speak until the green background is raised and conclude your remarks within 30 seconds of seeing the red background. To make myself more visible, I will keep my virtual hand raised throughout the minute. I request that we now concentrate on my screen as I will be sharing the colored backgrounds. Apologies, I was not able to edit with the word of the day. Sometimes the laptop does what the laptop does. That will be green for us, yellow, and red. To make myself visible, my virtual hand will be up. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Serah Wanjiku, for that explanation of your role today. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, there are people, everybody has a different love language. I'm veering off a little bit. Everybody has a different love language. Dr. Liz introduced to us Dr. Owino. Did you celebrate that? Can we please just give him a big round of applause for joining us today? She wants to see emojis, and even him, he's looking at her screen. Let us celebrate him. He could have been doing other things today, and he chose to be with us this evening. We now segue straight into the prepared speeches. I know the speakers have made time to prepare for themselves for today. And you have heard in Watabaruku, if you go over time, you're not voted as best speaker. If you're planning to be a better speaker, please pay attention to the time. If you're planning to be a preacher or a politician, feel free to go over time. Before I do that, my apologies. I want to, before I invite the speakers, I will invite our general evaluator to tell us about her role tonight. Over to you, Area Director Leila Abdi. But before you do that, Leila Abdi, our area director or the area director, she says that one area she would want coaching on is in Toastmasters, and the qualities that she admires is experience and expertise. Indeed, experience does happen to be the best teacher. she doesn't have any favorite coach. If you know a good coach that can help her in life, please share in the chat. Over to you, Area Director Leila Abdi.
Thank you so much, Madam TMOD, DTM Maggy. I appreciate that warm welcome. As the General Evaluator this evening, I am meant to provide an insightful and balanced overview of the meeting, celebrating excellence and identifying opportunities for refinement, thereby reinforcing Watabaruku's legacy of advanced communication and leadership. I will deliver my report when called upon. Back to you, Yemoni.
Thank you, Area Director Leila Abdi. We look forward to receiving your feedback at the end. Let us now hear from the speakers. And before we do that, we would want to know what it is that they have to share with us tonight. Our first speaker is Samson Oduor. I don't know how Samson Oduor is still not a distinguished Toastmaster. I will see him behind the tent and he can explain that to me. He is delivering an icebreaker that will be evaluated by 3 evaluators, but he will be introduced only by one, who is a content evaluator. The content evaluator, who is Dan Odero, is a member of 2 clubs. He's a member of K Toastmasters, which used to mean Kempinski. Now it just means K. They'll tell us one day what K stands for. And he's also a member of a club in the US called Eclectic Image Toastmasters. He's the Division C director. I believe Watabaruku falls under Division C. Does it? No. Anyway, my other club does fall under Division C, so he's my Division C director. And one area that he would want coaching on is on financial management. And something that he admires in a coach is intentional listening. A coach that he really admires is Dennis Waithiru. He'll be evaluating Samson Oduor, who is a member of Watabaruku. He is also an assistant Division C club growth director. And one area he wants to be coached on, or he would love to be coached on. If you are a coach and you're in this room and you know those are areas that you can coach on, I am giving you clients for free, no commission, is on managing his expectations. Things that he admires is listening skills, empathy, and ability to relate and connect beyond one's personal experiences when speaking to a client. His former boss, a gentleman by the name Hamish Keith, was somebody that he admired as a coach. Maybe he didn't see himself as a coach, but he did, especially because he did not try to make Samson a mini Hamish. I think he would have really failed at that. Let's hear from Dan Odero to know what it is that we should expect to hear from Samson today. Over to you, Dan Odero, to invite the speaker.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, my friend, DTM Maggy Waithiru. Before I go on, K Toastmasters, the club I belong to, stands for the key to professional career and overall personal development. It is the key. That is what K Toastmasters stands for. This evening, I've got the pleasure of evaluating and introducing Samson Oduor, my assistant club growth director. He is taking the path, strategic relationships. He's doing a level 1, an icebreaker. And the purpose of the project is for him to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of speech, public speech. Samson, of course, is an advanced speaker, having completed the legacy path. He has got 4 to 6 minutes to complete his speech, to present his speech. The title of his speech, semi-finalist. Samson Oduor, semi-finalist, Samson Oduor. Over to you, sir.
Joining Toastmasters remains one of the best decisions I think I've ever made in my life. On the 1st of July this year, I turned 13 years old in this great Toastmasters fraternity. I am officially a teenager. I only hope it does not come with all the hormonal fluctuations and mood oscillations that are stereotypically attributed to teenagers. Rather, I'm hoping that this teenage phase shall be characterized by a growth spurt. Before I joined Toastmasters, debating was my cup of tea. I picked up competitive debating in the year 2010 while pursuing my master's in tax law at the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. Coming off the back of studying law, having competed successfully in various mock trial competitions, and worked professionally as a candidate attorney for 2 years in one of the prestigious law firms in Port Elizabeth, I quickly distinguished myself as a prolific debater in short order. Therefore, came as no surprise that I was selected to represent the university at debate competitions. And soon enough, a trend began to emerge. After a few initial rounds of inter-university debate competitions, most of which I won, I progressed then to the regional debate championships. And in as much as I got to the semifinals, I lost at that stage. Subsequently, I participated in the National Debate Championships, where once again, I made it to the semifinals, only to be beaten again. Now, if you're familiar with the superstitious rule of 3, then this next part should not come as a surprise. At the Pan-African Debate Championships, which were held at the lovely, charming, idyllic city of Windhoek, Namibia, history repeated itself once again. I made it all the way to the semifinals, only to lose once again. Until today, I still wonder what the outcome would have been had I participated in the World University Debate Championships, which at that time had been scheduled to be held in the United States. Regrettably, I was not able to make it for those competitions on account of a lack of funding, and I guess we will never find out. However, my friends and my fellow debate mates certainly were clear about one thing. I was the undeniable, undisputed, undethroned debate semifinalist. And so a moniker was born, a portmanteau between my name, Sammy, and the title semifinalist. I became known as Sammy Finalist. While I did not particularly like this nickname, and I was not partial to the tongue-in-cheek that came with it, years later, this nickname helped me reconcile my successes and my failures, my lows and my highs, and what seemingly appeared to be an ever-stretching, undulating landscape of my life. You see, my parents had raised me to be the best of the best. I was required, even perhaps it was demanded of me, to win in all my pursuits. By the age of 4, I was competing and winning at memory verse competitions in churches. Throughout my entire primary school, I featured at the top of my class. I excelled at football, basketball, volleyball, handball, and athletics, and represented my school at various competitions. High school was a bit tough, probably something to do with those hormonal oscillations I was speaking of earlier. But at A-levels, I managed to get my things together and topped my class. My academic success continued throughout university, where I pursued law and chartered accounting at the same time. I had the privilege of being among the first Kenyans in a long time to have been recruited to a local South African firm. And yet, somehow later in life, things started to go topsy-turvy. I struggled to complete my LLM tax. I struggled at Kenya School of Law. 5 years on, I'm yet to complete my MBA. And during my tenure at my previous firm, I faced some opposition to making partner, which was delayed by 6 months. Recently, I quit the partnership to the great consternation of my parents and the gaping surprise of my colleagues and friends. And now I am gleefully plowing on as a fledgling legal and business consultant. However, in all this, I came to the realization that when I was younger, I strove to be the best for my parents' sake. And now as I am older, I strive to be the best version of myself. Me, who is an amalgam of contradictions, a nerd, yet the life of the party, a debater, yet a dialectic, a revolutionary, yet a pacifist, a romantic who believes in love, yet a serial bachelor who seemingly has trust issues. In the final analysis, I come to appreciate that my progress in one thing is always stymied by my interest in something else. And the thing is, I like it. Perhaps deep down, when I strip all societal expectations, parental aspirations, and the sporadic egoistic inclinations, I do not really care about being the best, but living the best life I can. Not a pliant life, but a life that is a cornucopia of passions, an amalgam of contradictions. A reality whereby I can be 100% excellent at something because my interests are diversified. I guess when all is said and done, I challenge the notion of being defined by my success. Rather, I define my success. So fellow ladies and gentlemen, here I am before you, a work in progress, and probably, hopefully, ideally, a diamond in the rough. I give you the semi-finalist. Thank you.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the diamond in the raft. The English was a lot. I don't know how our super grammarian is going to cover all that. Congratulations for your first speech under Pathways. I hope you're enjoying the Pathways journey. You know what I picked? Semi-finalist. I don't think I'll ever not call you semi-finalist. Is that you are the lactician lawyer with trust issues. How do lawyers have trust issues? I leave it to you to decide. I will ask the Sergeant at Arms to please launch the audience feedback. We thrive on feedback. Please give your feedback to our speaker so that he knows which areas that he needs to work on in future. You have exactly 1 minute. So you can say quite a lot in 1 minute. So stop talking. Thank you. Do not close the poll. We can leave it open for those who are able to continue sharing their feedback. We now go on to our next speaker, who will be evaluated or introduced by Cedric Odechi from Kigali Toastmasters. Our next speaker is Antony, who is a member of Watabaruku, one of our newest members. Thank you for choosing Watabaruku to be your partner, or should I say choosing us to be your partners in growth. Cedric says that indeed he feels all leaders need coaches. And one area he wishes he could be coached on is on public speaking and on his financial career. Qualities that he admires in a good coach is good listening, skills, empathy, and clear communication. He admires Vin Giang. I don't know if any of you know him. Jiang, I think he says Jiang as his name, because he is a good public speaker. Yes, he is fantastic. I first saw him in Diary of a CEO, and now I follow him. Thank you, Cedric. Cedric will be evaluating one of the evaluators for Antony, Oduor, who is a member of, as I said, of Watabaruku, who also believes in having a coach. Right now, he needs a coach to integrate his Toastmasters journey into an already demanding schedule, packed with work, school, and family commitments. Welcome to our world, Antony. And he loves a coach who is understanding and empathetic, and he admires Brian Traicy and Bernard Odote because of their radical focus on self-leadership, amongst other qualities. I will now invite Cedric Odechi to welcome the next speaker as he also introduces him to us. Over to you, Cedric.
Thank you, our Toastmaster of the day. I am delighted to evaluate Toastmaster Antony Oduor, who is undertaking presentation mastery part 3. Level 1. Project 2 about writing a speech with a purpose. The purpose of the method and structure of a speech and present a well-organized speech with a clear purpose. The member chooses her speech, and the title of the speech is Behind Your Cup. Behind Your Cup, Antony.
Have you ever stopped and think about what's behind your cup of coffee? For some of us, coffee is a ritual. It's what makes us get up in the morning. It's what makes us go through the day. And it's what makes us meet with a friend. Coffee in Kenya is being planted by almost 800,000 coffee farmers, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. In the world, coffee is the most traded commodity other than oil. And most importantly, coffee also is the most drunk beverage. We drink almost 2,000 billion cups of coffee in a day. Today, I'm going to walk you what's behind the cup of coffee in 3 sets. 1, I'm going to introduce you how I was introduced into the coffee journey. And secondly, the challenges that farmers face to bring up the coffee. And thirdly, what we can do as an audience to change this story behind the cup. I will not only tell you this as a coffee drinker or a coffee enthusiast, but I tell you as an agronomist who has spent countless time with these coffee farmers. My journey began way back when I was in secondary school. Back then, I used to play with that a lot. As some of my friends will go to music or games, I would spend a lot of my time with a farming club. We even tried to develop a vertical garden and plant a lot of vegetables both on top and around the garden. Yes, I was keeping my hands dirty. I did not know that interest would also take me through the university. I did soil science and plant nutrition. Yes, soil, the dirt beneath our feet. Fast forward, immediately after campus, I got an internship to be a soil scientist. My work revolved around going to the farms, collecting the soils, analyzing the soils, and giving recommendations to these farmers that connects the soil from the crop and the crop to the cup. As I go on my daily basis, most of the farmers gave me their stories. And these stories were totally different and were so much heartbreaking. Some would say that the coffee is for the drinker, but the sun is for the farmer. Every farm had a different story about their farm. I did not just find a work with these farmers. I found a purpose. As I spent most time with these farmers, you'd realize that these farmers normally work meticulously, very hard. In a normal day, they will wake up very early in the morning. And if it's a harvesting day, they will go to the plant and only select red ripe cherries. Not the green ones, not the underripe, nor the overripe, but only red ripe cherries. As they continue, they make sure that this red ripe cherry will develop the good aroma and the quality that you have in your cup. These farmers normally face a lot of challenges. One, climate change, which has made outbreak of pests and diseases that is totally uncontrollable. Secondly, the rise of farm inputs. Farm inputs are totally very expensive to the extent that these farmers can't be able to reach the price. Thirdly, the fluctuation of coffee prices. Like a normal farmer, it's very difficult to know how much I'm going to sell my coffee. And if that is not enough, coffee farmers normally wait for 4 to 6 months before they receive their pay. One day I asked a farmer, why does he continue still farming with all these challenges? He looked at me and said, Antony, I don't just farm because it's easy. I farm because I hope next year will be better. As I move on, what can we do as an audience to be part of this journey, to be part of this story behind the cup of coffee? One, we can start by asking questions, either through your barista or at the cafeteria, or even deep downtown on the supermarket where you buy these coffees. Was this coffee sourced sustainably? Was the farmer paid fairly? Or was the brand that procured this coffee was ethically involved in doing it? If we ask these questions, we shall be part of this journey from their farm to the cup. As I come to the end of my speech, I would like you to remember these three things. One, that I'm also part of the journey as we try as much as possible to make sure the farms are very okay. And secondly, I would like you to remember the challenges that these coffee farmers normally face. And next time, when you hold your cup of coffee, ask these difficult questions. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Antony Oduor, for reminding us to be mindful of the farmers. I'm a farmer, FYI, ladies and gentlemen, not of coffee. My mother would never have let us have any coffee farms. She vowed not to get married to a coffee farmer, and she managed because of her miserable childhood. I also did not taste coffee until I was an adult, and now I am a recovering coffee addict in terms of the caffeine, but I take decaf. You ask yourself, was it sourced sustainably? Was it sourced ethically? All these questions are important to ask yourself when you drink your next cup of coffee, which is probably going to be tonight or tomorrow. Thank you, Antony, for that passionate speech about coffee. We will now vote for our favorite speaker, and then we will do the audience poll. Over to you, Sergeant at Arms. Please vote for your favorite speaker. If the votes come in, we are not even at 50, we're just over 50%. Whenever you vote in Toastmasters, remember it's like practice for voting. Like in Kenya, we have elections next year. Show up as a voter and make your voice count. All right, 1 minute is up. Thank you very much for your indulgence. We will now give the second speaker your feedback. Over to you, Sergeant at Arms. We have 25 more seconds. And 1 minute is up. Thank you. We will keep it open for when you have an opportunity. Maybe you're still typing. We will now move on to the next segment, which is part of our sandwich, where we have our table topics segment. I know I'm going to see more videos on, which will make the life of our table topics mistress. Clients. I forced that one. Okay. Our next role taker is Traicy Mamou. Traicy is a member of Watabaruku, one of our newest members once again. And one area where she hopes she would get a coach is in Toastmasters. You will all have at some point to tell me, when you say Toastmasters, what do you mean? Because there's so many things about Toastmasters that one can be coached on. And things that she admires is knowledge of the subject. The coach is knowledgeable of the subject, as well as having the gusto for it. She doesn't have any coach that she really follows at the moment, but I'm sure after today's session, she will go and research on the ones that she has heard about in today's meeting. I will now invite Traicy to lead the next segment. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam TMOD. My fellow Kenyans, the table topic session, say that 3 times, is an opportunity for all of us who have not spoken, Toastmasters and guests, to practice their impromptu speaking, critical thinking, and practice their listening skills. Today's table topics will be helping you improve on your verbal fluency, which is your ability to string up a story in certain high pressure situations, and word retrieval. That is what, during these high pressure situations, your ability to link words into your story. You're going to use a tool called Spin the Yarn on, which is a tool from Udly, which is a random word generator. Every speaker will have 1.5 minutes to tell their stories. And please remember to use the word of the day, which is client. Easily influenced, which means to be easily influenced or shaped, willing or willing to adapt. I hope you'll placate me as I call upon you to try out our little exercise. And now you've had our first speaker. And if you're curious like me, as a lawyer, and he's very fluent in English, I would love to test his verbal fluency. So my first speaker, a seasoned Toastmaster, will lead us through this session just to show you how it's done. Oduor, if you'd kindly indulge me. I know you've spoken, but...
Sure, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. Right.
All right, this is a random word generator called Spin the Yarn. It is going to issue you with a prompt. For example, today is Tuesday. What's the best thing about your Tuesday? And as you answer this question, it's going to pop up random words from which you're supposed to answer the prompt while inserting the random words in your sentence, making the story more or less something that makes sense. Is that okay?
No, let's give it a shot.
All right, you have 1 minute, 30 seconds. Thank you for being a good sport. Here we go.
My last myth on earth will definitely be a steak, and a steak that is rare. I like a steak that is not well done, that is not prepared by an idiot chef who doesn't understand that a steak should be something that is juicy, and it should definitely be accompanied by some fries or potatoes, definitely not rice. at the same time, I would like to pair it with a good bottle of wine, and pray tell that is not a wine from South Africa. Having lived there, I was exposed to their wines, but they're necessarily expensive. A prize wine for me is ideally Malbec out of Argentina, that which on the face of it might not always be the best thing on the roll, but if you really think about it and needle through the assortment of wines that are available for you, you will always find that the Malo is the best thing for you. In all things, though, that come with food, in as much as I like to patrol across various places to discover a nice eatery, I always find myself going back to the same place. I would like to share that with you, but I think that will be a good icebreaker for when we meet next. So pop in, ask a question, and I'll let you know where the best place is to have a medium rare steak.
Fantastic.
Good
Thank you
Lord,
so
that was
much.
insane.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, insanely fun. Thank you very much. All right. Do I have any other volunteers? Someone from the floor who'd love to try this? Anyone can volunteer, or I can call upon someone. Okay, let's try Oluwafan Milayo. Olu, I'm not doing that again.
Hello everyone. Apologies, I can't turn on my
Oluwafami,
camera.
are
I'm
you in the room?
actually so.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can. Thank you so much. You've seen how it's done. Are you ready?
I guess so.
All right, here we go. Begin.
What can't I live without? First, I would like to be pliant to my culture and also the fact that respect is very much needed. Respect across board. What I can't live without is being disrespected or not respecting people. So, respecting tools and everything from screwdrivers, things, and also human beings, to even the firehouse, how you use the firehouse, as well as your bed. Most of us, because of the time we wake up and the time left, we don't even make up our beds, which is what the first thing to use. A lot of waste are everywhere, which needs to be cleaned up. And trays everywhere. Yes, and respect is reciprocal. This is really something that everyone needs to take up, and this is not easy.
Thank you so much for being a good sport. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. If you're ever curious about the game, it is free. You can log on to Udly and try it out for yourself. I'd like to call on another seasoned Toastmaster. Let me see. Faith Abayu. Faith Abayu, can you kindly indulge me? Faith? Okay. Let's try Mary. Yes, Mary. Thank you for volunteering. You can unmute and you can begin when you're ready. When I'm ready, really.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Faith.
Thank you for letting me play the game. I hope it goes well.
Right, it'll go fantastic. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Yay. It's going better than I expected. The weather is warmer than I had left it in Nairobi. Down here in Mombasa, it's super warm and cozy. I like to pour myself a glass of wine, a cold glass of wine. And my trip down here on the train was amazing, and I made new friends. And I discovered that the SGR passes through an animal park, and we had cabbages for lunch. It was the messiest lunch I had on the trip, and I actually got stuck at the door, and it was a small wall between me and the door when I was leaving the washroom. Nevertheless, I was palliant enough to squeeze myself through the plastic door, and I thank the train attendant who was able to help me out, and I appreciate joining this circle tonight, and I hope that we all enjoy our evening. That was
Fantastic,
nervous,
Rosa.
breaking.
You did fantastic. Thank you so much. It's not about necessarily telling the truth. It's just trying to fetch all these words to help you generate a certain story that would make sense. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yeah.
Timekeeper, I hope I'm still on time. Thank you. Evans, fantastic. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. Allow me not to put on my video.
Sure thing. Thank you so much for volunteering. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
Do you have any fun trips planned? Yes, of course, I do have a trip to Uganda planned in the month of August. I am looking forward to taking some chicken. Of course, with my pen on hand, I am already planning that trip. I have called the hotel to find out whether they will house me. I am looking forward to scouting and seeing a bit of wildlife. I hear there are some owls in Uganda and some other parts, some amphibians and like toads and the like in the rivers. I would be glad to scout them. The rainbows, for sure. I hear Uganda there's a lot of rain, so of course I'll see some rainbows. Kittens, I'm not a fan of cats, and I have enough cats at home, so I am not looking forward to that. And I'm hooked. I'm hooked to this adventure, and for sure, I'm looking forward to it.
Well done. Thank you so much, Evans. That was fantastic. Maybe a couple more.
Just table topics. I see the time hand is up.
Done. Yes.
The time is up. Okay, I've seen the red card now. All right, thank you so much, participants and all of us who have tried out our little game. If you'd like to try the game, it's free on Udly. I will leave a link somewhere in the chats, and I will see you on the next one. Back to you, Tabletop. TMOD.
Yes, if you could please remind us who the speakers were in their order so that we know how to vote.
Yes. Our first speaker was what was the nickname?
Semi-finalist.
Samson.
was Samson Makodo. We had Mary Gikoyo. We had Oluwafan, I'm so sorry, Oluwafan Mileo. And then we had Ivan Sang. And they vote for your better storyteller.
Excellent. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's give our table topics master a big round of applause. We demand, as we would say in Kenya, haki yetu, our right. We want to have this run at the end of our meeting. We can have it as our networking segment after our meeting is over. Traicy, please do that for us. That was an ephemeral session with planned speakers who indulged us with rare stakes and such wonderful stories. I loved it all the way. Thank you very much. We now segue straight to the evaluation speeches. Yes, they are speeches. I will not speak more about coaching because then we would go over time. I will ask our first evaluator to come to the floor. That is Dan Odero, who will be evaluating the speech from the speech by Samson Makodo. I'm trying to see okay, I have a response from one of the evaluators who will come in next, and that is the delivery evaluator, Gideon, my president in Runda Elite. His answer to the questions that I shared to the speakers or to the role takers, and that you have heard me speak to, is that yes, he feels that every leader should have a coach, and what he would love to be coached around is on building consensus and things that he admires, qualities that he admires in a good coach, of which his favorite is Brian Otiende. We all know Brian Otiende. He was the Division A director, is the ability to communicate effectively. If you're looking for a good coach, you can speak to Brian Otiende. I now invite Dan Odero to lead the evaluation for Samson's speech. Over to you, Dan Odero.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, Maggy. And Samson, what a thrill. Semi-finalist. That will not get out of our heads. Semi-finalist. The purpose of the speech was to get to know you better. And that you did well, because we then got to know you. Told us a lot about yourself. First of all, starting with Toastmasters. You're 13 years old. Very nicely done. You're 13 years old. He's been in Toastmasters 13 years of that. And then the things that you have done, you went on to state the things that you've done, having also earned the Nelson Mandela, there's something about the Nelson Mandela studies there, law, and a prolific debater. So you brought in quite a number. So you've done quite a bit. So those are the things. So you get us to know you have done a lot. You have achieved quite a bit. You have traveled also, then, because you said you did some stint in Windhoek, you've been in South Africa. You didn't manage to get the States, but this, so we know where you have been around and the things you've done. And your logic, the story, the flow was there, so we know this is what Samson is. He's an advocate, and this is what he likes. He's done, besides that, he's also done a bit of an MBA, and he's also been a partner. So these things came out very well. You then also brought up, as we went on, because semi-finalists talks about, it's about competition, contests. And that then you brought out well, you developed that, and then explained to us why you would then call it semi-finalists. Why that comes in, and the things that you actually did with that. As we went on to get to know you, you then brought up the thing about the childhood. Why you're a prolific debater. So that came in there, information about your childhood a little bit, the sports you liked, And you also put in the word of the pliant, your pliant life. It is truly a pliant life. What I would think you need to consider, because this speech is 4 to 6 minutes, an introduction, and you, during your path, can also give us a lot more stories during the pathway. I would probably maybe consider telling us a little bit, state out some of them, focus on one thing, and then the plans and how you got your nickname, that focus on that. But there's a lot of information. A lot of information can we hear it, but it gets lost with us because sometimes we get, oh, there's so much, he did this, he did that. Very good. Bring it in another speech. Bring it in another speech and put it onto us, the sports stuff. But well done with the content. The content you brought out, we get to know you, and there's a lot you got to know about you. Well delivered. But probably save some of the content for as you're developing other speeches. Thank you for that, and I look forward to listening to your next speech. Thank you, Samson. And I'll now hand over to your delivery evaluator, Gideon. Over to you, Gideon, for your evaluation on his delivery.
Recording in progress. Thank you very much. Please allow me to switch between devices because I'm currently evaluating in the dark. Just give me a minute.
As Gideon gets himself ready, we can invite Dr. Liz. Dr. Liz, once you're done, please invite Gideon back.
Thank you, TMOD. Samson, you just wowed us. I tried looking for areas of improvement. I was not able to pick even one. I'm glad that you used the word of the day once. And amongst the terms and the phrases that were really interesting and that kept us glued to your presentation include fraternity, hormonal oscillation, growth spurt, mock trial competitions, prolific debater, trend began to emerge, superstitious rule of three, undeniable, undisputed, undethroned. There are so many. So keep it up and continue giving your best. Back to you, the content evaluator.
Delivery evaluator.
Delivery evaluator, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Allow me to not turn on my camera. If I do, you will still not be able to see me. Tonight, I'm evaluating in the dark via phone, and it's a perfect reminder that our speakers, our platform must remain pliant and adaptable to any situation. Let's look at tonight's virtual seated delivery. Samson, first off, your voice. I loved how you effectively communicated because you were clearly heard, understood. You showed excellent flexibility, moving pitches, levels that kept us engaged. However, as a challenge to you, I must request that you consider how you deliver in terms of rushing. And this would probably go back to what the content evaluator mentioned about loading the speech, because at some point it felt like we were missing out on the great punchlines that you are giving. You know, when you're talking about your bachelorhood, that's an opportunity for us to clap and laugh so that we can digest. So allow us as the audience to digest. I encourage you to make that pacing more pliant. Just pause, breathe, and trust the silence after a powerful point. In terms of physical delivery, I know you had mentioned to us that you are not feeling well, and I commend, again, I want to echo the words of the president, Kevin, who mentioned your sheer dedication for just showing up. Since you're seated, I couldn't evaluate, of course, the full body staging, but I do appreciate that you still incorporated your hand movements. And just as a tip to all of us, let's ensure that our body language supports your points completely, and they're congruent gestures as we are delivering them. In a small camera frame, less is more. So keep your gestures deliberate rather than constant and coordinated motion, so that they can perfectly match and elevate your word. Then in terms of the platform style, again, you spoke with fantastic enthusiasm, and this shows that you are actually you enjoyed telling us about yourself, and we really did enjoy it. So you have the vocal variety and energy of a phenomenal speaker. Just master that power of the pause and refine those on-screen gestures, and your next delivery will definitely be unstoppable. Back to you, TMD. Thank you very much.
Fabulous. Thank you. Let's give our evaluators a big round of applause. Thank you, Samson. I can see yours. I need to see a few more coming from all of you with your emojis. In a room, I would certainly be looking at all of you. Thanks very much. That was the perfect sandwich for Samson with rare beef. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you picked a few lessons that you can carry home with you as you improve as a speaker. Our next speaker the second speaker was Antony. He's evaluated by 3 evaluators led by Cedric Odechi, who will be doing the content, then Paul, who will be doing the delivery, and Dr. Liz, who will be doing the language. Paul's response to my question was that yes, indeed, he would cherish as a leader to have a coach. And something that he admires in coaching is somebody who is patient and leads by example. And what he would love to be coached around is articulation and vocal variety. You have Dr. Rubia for that, or even Samson Oduor. He even showcased himself here today. But somebody that he says he admires is his former boss, whose name we shall know in future. I now invite Cedric to lead the evaluation, and then he will invite Paul, who will then evaluate Dr. Liz. Over to you, Cedric.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster. That was a fantastic speech by Antony Oduor about coffee farming, which stood out to me as on your opening. We must stop and think about the story behind the cup. This left us hooked and enthralled and ready to listen to your speech. Point number 2 is the structure and organization of the speech. Since this was a speech with a purpose, I focused on how clearly you structured your body in an opening and conclusion. And I noticed that you had clear transition from one section of the speech to another. For example, whereby you said first, second, as I end. This made the audience to clearly easy follow through your speech. And lastly is the relevance of your speech. You shared about coffee farming, which is a topic many of us mostly or probably consume on a daily basis, if not all of us. This made your message relatable to the audience. What are some of the areas that I felt you could improve on to elevate your speech? It's number 1, the clarity of your speech. I noticed that at some part of your speech, you said, I want to tell you why the speech is important. You said you'll be telling us 3 points, but you went ahead and told us only 1 point. I will ask questions. Are you ethically involved? If you told us you are going to tell us 3 points, you could have tell us the 2 other points. Number 2 is telling us why the speech is important to us at the very beginning because you introduced coffee farming and said more than 8 farmers across the world plant coffee. But when you tell us why you sharing this coffee message, it would have been much relatable to the audience. All in all, you had a compelling opening, a great structure, and you shared a relatable message. If you improve on your clarity of the speech and telling us why at the very beginning, this will elevate your speech to the next level. Coming back to the objective of the project, your speech was an informative project about coffee farming around the world, and you clearly brought in the message of coffee and to the audience, or they were left relating to your message at the very end. You met the objective of the project. To the next speech evaluator, that is Paul.
Behind your cup of coffee. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Antony, for that speech that I was able to follow very clearly because you had a voice that was very audible, and you kept delivering your speech using pauses at good moments so that we could follow your speech. I liked how you kept chunking particular groups of words that kept the meaning alive, and we could follow you and kept looking forward to what is coming up next. I also particularly liked your moments of emphasis where you emphasize particular thing. The one I would like to particularly point out is the point where you said the red ripe cherries, and you pulled out your hand, leaned towards the screen, and not only did you use your gestures, you also used a prop where you actually had a red cherry of coffee. And that I liked very well because it made us lean forward, follow your speech, and look forward to more engagement with you. The area of improvement was on the gestures. I noticed that you are doing very well. The gestures, you are starting from a very comfortable and relaxed position, a bit towards your chest or slightly above your tummy. And you would keep moving your hands. There were moments when you could have used gestures as contrasts. But then I noticed you could say, whether it's from the cafeteria or whether from the barista, using the same hand. You could have used one hand, said the left hand for the barista, and then the right hand for the cafeteria, so that you bring contrast, you bring direction and exaggeration. The second point that I think you need to work on is your facial expression. It is important that your tone of voice and your face and your voice match whatever you are saying. But I noticed that whether you are uncomfortable about where the coffee comes from or something nice about what you're talking about coffee, your facial expression remained the same. It would be nice for you to think about moments where you could match those with your gestures and so on. So on the whole, I really liked your moments of emphasis, the use of props, and the good pace of your speech. If you could work on the gestures a little more and your facial expressions to match your speech, your tone of your speech, then you would be on to more engaging speeches. Now on to the super grammarian, DTM Liz.
Thank you very much, Delivery Evaluator Paul. To our second speaker, Antony, just like the first speaker, I want to say that your use of grammar remains commendable. I was not able to pick any mispronunciation, neither was I able to pick any grammatical error. However, I realized that there are times when you had some hesitations. So it's like it was not flowing from one theme to another. But just to highlight the terms that you used that were very commendable, I loved the aspect of coffee is a ritual. Coffee enthusiast, dirt beneath our feet. And like your content, the evaluator mentioned, the red ripe cherries, very much, we could relate even without looking at them. Fluctuation, barista, sound sustainability, ethically involved. And I believe that even with your next speech, you will give us the real British English language. Back to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Dr. Liz DTM, for that feedback, and also from the other evaluators, Paul Muwanga and Cedric Odechi. I believe that, Antony, you are a pliant, you have pliant attitude towards feedback, and that you will embrace that feedback to make you an even more formidable speaker now and in future. We are now going into the next segment of receiving reports from our role takers. Before I invite them, I want to speak a little bit more about coaching. When you think about a coach, think about somebody who can see your blind spots. I don't know if this is done anymore when you go to driving school, but many years ago when I went to driving school, when you went to do the driving test, of course, you first do the theory, they give you a board, and they tell you to explain what you're going to do as you change from one lane to another. They would listen out to see whether you're going to say you're only looking at the side mirrors, because side mirrors will not show you everything. They expect you to turn around to see the blind spot that you cannot ideally see, as you even vote for your favorite evaluator. What you cannot see through the side mirrors. And that is the role of a coach, to help you see your blind spots, which you will never see because we are not built that way to be able to see our blind spots. And as you grow in leadership, it becomes harder and harder to get candid feedback from people around you. People are scared. They want to be in your good shoes, so they don't tell you the truth. And the people who tell you, they sugarcoat it and make you think you are the best leader ever. Well, indeed, you have glaring issues. There is a video I would have wanted to share with you, but maybe I will do that in future, where it shows somebody with a nail on the head. The nail on the head is a cause of her headache, and she doesn't want anybody to tell her about the nail on her head until she leans forward to kiss her husband, and then she realizes, oops, there is the nail on my head that he has been trying to say. The nail, I said, don't talk about the nail. Yes, you do need somebody to point out your blind spot. The coach will create a safe space where you can share, and they will help you unpack unconscious thoughts that stop you. We like talking about fears. We like talking about self-doubt, fear of failure, or all those things or shame, things that stop you from being a better leader. Another thing that I would tell you to make you reconsider having a coach, if you are not yet convinced, is this: a coach being the mirror. They are also a sounding board for all your ideas. They challenge you. When you come up and say, I just want to do one pathway, for instance, and I'll ask you, why only one pathway? Why can you not do two? Why can you not do three? You have so many areas of growth, and I believe you can do much more with your time. And they are also your accountability partner, somebody who is not judging you, but cheering you on and helping you identify where your blind spots are and things that are holding you back. Enough of talking. Now let us hear from our reports our report takers, the people who've been checking to see how we are doing, how we are running the meeting. And I will start with Dr. Liz, Distinguished Toastmaster, to give us her super grammarian report that has nothing to do with the speeches, but now overall. Over to you, Dr. Liz, DTM.
Thank you very much, Maggie. On the overall, the word of the day, which was my focus, has been very well used. The person leading in its usage is none other than the TMOD, followed by our chat master, who kept on using and encouraging members to use the word. Others who were able to use it was Mark Oduor, who used it once. Paul Muwanga, yes, there was also Gideon, who used it twice. And those are the ones I was able to capture. So next time, please, let's try as much as possible to use the word of the day on the chat as we engage. And also even the speakers, you can try using the word of the day. I was not able to pick improper use of language. Being an advanced club, most of the presenters and the speakers were well prepared, and that is thumbs up for you all. I would like to mention, I've already mentioned the phrases that were capturing, that were used by the speakers. I don't want to mention it again, but just to mention other phrases that I was able to pick. Paul Muwanga used ballistic, which was very good. Somebody else also used punchlines, used fantastic enthusiasm, constant and coordinated, very good and proper use of grammar this evening. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day. The rest of the reports you will get in the course of the night.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Liz DTM, for that candid feedback. As we said, sometimes we don't appreciate feedback from our peers, but when we hear others give us feedback, we need to be pliant enough to accept it as an opportunity for growth. Thank you, Dr. Liz. We now invite our general evaluator. No, why isn't our timekeeper? Our timekeeper is not on the agenda. Let's invite the timekeeper to give us her report. Not obviously, not on the speeches because she's already shared that. If she has any report in general on time management.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. I was busy doing my own things. So far, we are a bit behind schedule. I have shared the other reports. Our super grammarian has taken 1 minute and 46 seconds, meaning she is below time. But I think it's because she had done the reports on the speeches. Back to you. I will share the GE's report once done and how we have done by the end of the meeting. Over to you.
Okay, super. Thank you. The timers report. Over to you, General Evaluator, Leila Abdi. Leila, I keep feeling like calling you Dr. Leila Abdi. Area Director Leila Abdi, maybe you should become a doctor. Over to you for your report.
Wow, DTM Maggie, thank you. You're not the only one who says that. Maybe I should just go back and do my PhD at this rate. Having said that, I would like to commend all of us for our session so far well run. As your general evaluator, this meeting has been very pliant. We've had situations where there were technical issues, but the transitions were sorted quite professionally. Before the meeting started, we had the role takers arrived on time. The meeting room was opened exactly on time, and that I commend Mr. President for that. The speakers have used good use of the English language. As our timer has stated, we are slightly, not exactly up on time. Nevertheless, this has been a meeting which has been pliant by Toastmaster standards, and I will give my GE reports at the end of this meeting. Back to you, DTM Maggie.
Thank you, Area Director Leila Abdi, for that feedback. We look forward to reading it and using it to improve the quality of our meetings going forward. It's been a fantastic evening that's almost coming to an end. I want to thank each one of you for how you have showed up today, for our speakers for making time to prepare your speeches. I loved hearing from Samson, who I first interacted with maybe in 2019, but I've never had him deliver a speech. That was my first time, and I got to know a lot about him. And then in the table topics, I also got to know that he likes rare steaks, which means I can never invite him for lunch. I am now safe. I loved the speech on coffee. I love coffee. Unfortunately, these days I can only take decaf because age dictates that I change my habits. Thank you very much. Our content evaluators, thank you, Cedric. Thank you, Dan Odero. Thank you, our delivery evaluators. We had Gideon and we had Paul Muwanga. We also had our super grammarian, Dr. Liz, who was also the language delivery evaluator. That's a mouthful. Our timekeeper, Serah, thank you for keeping us on our toes. Traicy, Mamou, we are looking forward to doing the game again at the end. I am really looking forward to it. Siobuda, thank you for the active engagement on the chat. That is beautiful. It's like passing notes between people without making noise and still keeping the energy going. I loved that. Our Sergeant at Arms, whoever it is behind the scene, you've done a fantastic job. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sparing your time this evening to join us. Without you, we would not be having this meeting. Thank you for being part of the audience, for your audience engagement as when you gave your audience feedback to the speakers, and also for taking part in the polls and in the table topics. I have had a fantastic time. I hope that you remember, do not aim to be a boss. Aim to be a coach. Your staff members, your team members know what they need to do. They just need to be encouraged, just a little bit of a nudge. Ask them what they need. Engage with them. Treat them as you would want to be treated. And I'm sure you will be a better leader, not only today, but also in future, and we shall read your stories in years to come. Back to you, Mr. President, Dr. Rubia, DTM. Those are very many titles.
Thank you very much, DTM Maggy. I shall also call you doctor because you're baptizing people today. So let's celebrate Dr. Maggy Waithiru DTM for her wonderful engagement in this online experience. You have kept me engaged. I have not laughed like that since the beginning of this month. So that is what is new for me. In the same breath, I'd like us at this juncture to celebrate Maggy and her team's wonderful running of this meeting by putting on our videos so that we can take a screenshot to commemorate this meeting 139 before we go to learn about who won Best Speaker, Best Table Topics, and Best Evaluator. Let us please turn on our videos, those who can. Actually, everyone, even will accept you the way you are. As long as you have clothes, that's fine. Thank you, Gideon. Good to see you amidst the darkness. You actually can be seen. Imagine. Great. I'm now going to take a screenshot. I'm going to count down from 3 to 1. So 1 is when I'm going to take the screenshot. 3, 2. Now we are going to smile. Let's smile. Let's not cry. Let's be happy. Okay, 1 to go. 3, 2, 1. Wait, someone was typing in the chat. I have to make sure that. So we are now redoing it. Please don't type in the chat. Smiling. 3, 2, 1. Now my laptop has hung. Have you guys? Am I still here?
No. You're still here. We can hear you, yes. Oh, Daktari. I don't know. I think he is still here. We lost him.
Clearly not Daktari of technology.
Clearly not. I think our VPPR should take the photo. Serah, are you able to take the photo on behalf of Daktari? Traicy was being naughty. Ah, did we lose him like for real?
He's back.
I think he's back.
He's back.
Okay. There you are, Daktari.
Lol. I'm back. I don't know if we've taken those, but just in case my laptop starts hanging again, we're doing 3, 2, 1. Please don't type in the chat. 3, 2, 1. Now we are going to do funny ones. So now put your funny face. 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much for your compliance. I've not used pliant, but I've used compliance. Great. Now, the moment that we have been waiting for, where we get to learn who won our votes as we prepare to vote, at least in Kenya in 2027. I'm about to open the certificates. Let me just open the servers just a bit. Table topics, there we have it. Great. Then we go to best evaluator. Meanwhile, in the chat, you can be telling me how you found this meeting. Describe it in one word. How did you find this meeting? And of course, our chat master is going to lead us in that. She has been very active in engaging us. Let us know in one word. Please describe how you found this online experience today, being the first one in Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club, this Toastmasters year. Great. I can now confirm we are good to go. In the chat, I see the responses are, thank you, keep them coming, organized, fun, engaging, energetic, fun, synergistic. Wow, we are sorry, step on us. Orderly. Great, keep them coming as we now prepare our hands and drum as we now get to know who won. We'll start with best table topics. I'm not hearing those drum rolls, otherwise I'm not going to share them.
You didn't hear that?
No.
Sure.
Try again. Oh yeah, oh, those are drum rolls. Oh, okay, great. Some of us, Central Kenya, as you have heard, so drum rolls feature differently in that part of the country. Great. We are now ready to see, first you'll see the agenda just for suspense. Our best table topics speaker was none other than Samson Oduor. Congratulations, semi-finalists. Next is the best evaluator, and we had a tie. We had Gideon Mureithi, amidst the darkness you shone. Well done. Keep it up, Mr. Delivery Evaluator. And Paul Muwanga, who, if I'm not wrong, was also a delivery evaluator. Well done to you, gentlemen. Last and not least is our best speaker. Our best speaker this evening, or better speaker because there were two of them, is Samson Oduor. Well done to those who have voted and all those who participated, because that's what counts. The fact that you stood up and stepped up to take up a role today while I'm president, I salute you. On to some announcements. The first announcement is to celebrate Samson Oduor, who delivers breaker today. Today we give you many, many rounds of applause. That is a milestone in Toastmasters. If it were a physical meeting, we would all stand and applaud him. Please take those hand claps as a symbol of a standing ovation. Great. Samson Makodol will also be the Toastmaster of the day in our next meeting, which will be held on the 24th of July. On the 24th of July, we still have a few roles open up for grabs. And I'd like to ask Madam VP, are you able to let us know which roles are available so that people can reach out to you should they be available themselves?
Sure. Thank you very much, President. So the roles that are open, we have content evaluator. We have a slot for delivery evaluator. We have a slot for the general evaluator. And if you have enjoyed what our chat master has done, there's also an open role for our chat master. So we have 4 roles open. You're all invited. Our TMOD will for sure steer us well. So hop on, reach out to me in the event you're able to.
Thank you, Vice President Education Fatma. She is the steering wheel behind our success. Please reach out to her to take up a role in our next online experience. I'd also like to congratulate Toastmaster Lorna Abaki for completing level 3 of her effective coaching path. Congratulations, Lorna. And also for celebrating birthday. Happy birthday, happy belated birthday, Lorna, this month.
Happy birthday, Laura.
Thank you, thank you.
Fantastic. We also have one Toastmaster who completed a level today. That's Toastmaster Gideon Rute Mberwa, level 5.
You mean Gilbert?
Gilbert, who have I said? Gideon. Oh, okay, Gilbert. But it's in the recording. Gilbert Rute Mberwa. Let's clap for him in absentia. Well done, Gilbert, for finally completing level 5. I can see you are stepping closer to your dream of becoming a distinguished Toastmaster. At this juncture, I'd like to ask anyone who's not had an opportunity to speak to let us know where they're joining from and how they found this meeting to be. If you are invited by someone, please let us also know who is that gracious, benevolent Toastmaster. Jane Odipo, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Jane. Thank you for joining us. How did you find this meeting and where are you joining us from and who invited you?
Hi, thank you. I'm joining from Nairobi. It's my first Toastmaster meeting, very exciting, very encouraging, lots of word games. I was invited by Traicy and I'm glad I made time to join. Thank you.
Fantastic. We enjoyed your company. I'm glad that you also enjoyed our company. And Traicy is actually sending love heart emojis. Thank you for honoring her invite.
Thank you.
Fantastic. We look forward to interacting with you more.
Thank you.
Most welcome. Dina Awondo. Dina, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Watabaruku. Is this your first time here?
Yes, it's my first time here. I was
Nice.
invited by Traicy.
We are sorry, Traicy. And how did you find the meeting, Dina?
Very exciting, very involving.
Mhm.
A lot of word game, I would say as well. Maybe I would love, I would learn more about what people are doing here, because I really not really got ahead of what people are really doing, especially like what the games that Traicy was playing. I don't know whether that is really Toastmaster or whether that's the way it is, but I'm excited about it. I'll join again. Like, give another opportunity, I'll join again.
The opportunities are endless. Even as you wait to join us on the 24th, I'm sure Traicy is going to share many more meetings that you can join. Traicy, I'd like you just to respond to Dina. What exactly were you doing?
Thank you, Mr. President. Ma'am, what was happening was I was running a session. You asked questions and you respond impromptu. For example, tell me about yourself. Tell me about a time when. So a session like this actually helps you prepare for such moments in future. Mine had a little twist, had a little game, and that was what happened. I hope that answers, but we can speak behind the tent. I'll be able to tell you more. Mr. President, if I may.
Yes.
If I may, I'd like to invite Dr. Rachel Awondo as well.
Over to you, Dr. Rachel.
Hi, Mr. President. Thank you so much, Traicy. Allow me not to put on my camera because my hair is not in good shape. Traicy is actually my niece, and my husband is the one who encouraged her to join Toastmasters, and I realize she's doing very well. This is my first meeting in a Toastmasters meeting, despite living with a distinguished Toastmaster. And I think it's actually very interesting and very engaging. Thank you, Traicy, for inviting me, and I'm going to see you behind the tent for ambushing me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for honoring the invite.
And thank you, Traicy, for bringing everyone. Is there anyone else you'd like to bring to the stage?
Just a word of thanks for everybody who came and to support me. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, most welcome. Toastmasters is a family, and it is indeed a family affair. Let's always remember to invite our friends, our family, our pets, our exes, so that they can see what is happening in your life and how you are shining. One other announcement, and this one is the final one, is Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club has been honored to be part of a pilot program, courtesy of William Ochomo, the Alibad Toastmasters Club president. He's working on a system that will help us be more pliant when it comes to role taking, resource sharing, and meeting agendas in a nutshell. I will share a video that will explain more about this later, and we'll be adding us, members of Watabaruku Advanced Toastmasters Club, onto the platform to make it easier for us and easier for the Vice President of Education. More on that later. It is 9 p.m. East African time. Thank you all for making this meeting pliant and successful. I wish you a wonderful weekend and a wonderful evening, morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. I declare this meeting adjourned.